Hi, welcome back to another cozy Draw with me. Today I'm drawing Zoro and Brook from One Piece wearing their Wano outfits. This drawing is actually a redraw practice inspired by a fan art I found on Pinterest. I couldn't find the original artist, so if anyone knows who made the original piece, please let me know so I can credit them properly. This video is going to be a mix of drawing, anime nostalgia, a little life update, and another episode of La Señora Carcasa Corner. If this is your first time here, hi! I'm an artist, trying to get better at digital art, video editing, speaking in English, and surviving adulthood. Not necessarily in that order. So grab something to drink, draw with me, study with me, clean your room, or just keep me company in the background like a teeny emotional super ghost. Today we are talking about One Piece, job hunting, adult problems, and cats. A lot of cats. For anyone new, I'm Lisael. I make anime-inspired art, fan art, and little art diary videos where I talk about my process, my life, and my dramatic body, also known as La Señora Carcasa. La Señora Carcasa is the name I give my body when it starts complaining, creating new side quests, or making normal activities weirdly complicated. In the last video, I introduced her properly and talked a little bit about my allergy to dust and cat hair, which is very ironic because I love cats way too much. So today we are going to continue with the cat topic because apparently I'm emotionally committed to tiny fluffy creatures that make me sneeze. But first, let's talk about the drawing. This drawing is a one-piece redraw of Zoro and Brook in their Wano outfits. I found the original fan art on Pinterest and I really like the composition. Brook is behind Zoro, leaning over him with this dramatic skeleton energy, and Zoro is in the front with that confident little smile like he knows exactly what he's doing. Which is funny, because he probably doesn't know where he is. I also really like the atmosphere of the piece. The background is dark, there are some soft purple ghost-like shapes around them, and the whole image has a slightly mysterious feeling. Brook already has such a strong visual presence because he is literally a skeleton musician with an afro, which is honestly a character design choice that sounds impossible until you remember this is One Piece. And then Zoro has this sharp, grounded, sword fighter energy. He looks calm, dangerous, and a little smooth. Together, they create a really fun contrast. Brook feels tall, elegant, spooky, and theatrical. Zoro feels solid, confident, and ready to cut something in half. So yes, of course I decided to redraw this, because apparently I enjoy giving myself complicated drawings and pretending they are practice. One Piece was one of the first anime I ever watched. It's one of those stories that is very hard to explain to someone who hasn't seen it, because you start with it's about pirates, and then suddenly you are talking about skeleton musician, crying chiefs, corrupt government, tragic childhoods, and a rubber boy who can emotionally destroy you. At some point in my life, I watched One Piece 3 times from the beginning all the way to Shabondi. Yes, 3 times, from episode 1 to Shabondi. I don't know if that was dedication, emotional damage, or simply having too much free time at that point in my life. Probably all 3. But I really love it. I love the adventure, the comedy, the characters, and how One Piece can be completely ridiculous one moment and then suddenly break your heart in the next scene. Currently, I'm not caught up. Not because I stopped loving it, but because of human problems. Life happens, adult responsibility happens, job hunting happens, the mysterious curse of I watch it later happens, and then later become months, and the months become even more months. So now One Piece is waiting for me like a giant sea monster in the corner of my watch list. Patient, terrifying, probably longer than my list of responsibilities. For this drawing, one of the things I want to keep was the atmosphere. The dark purple background, the ghost-like shapes around them, and the paper-like texture make the drawing feel softer and a little mysterious. I made this in Clip Studio Paint, and since I was still learning the program, a big part of the process was just experimenting. I was playing with texture, brushes, layers, and different tools. Sometimes I knew what I was doing, sometimes I absolutely did not. But honestly, that was part of the fun. I think I learned a lot from the drawing because I allowed myself to explore and instead of trying to control everything perfectly. The texture especially was something I really enjoyed. Sometimes flat digital colors can feel too clean for me, so adding that paper-like effect made the drawing feel warmer, almost like it was printed or painted on texture paper. The purple ghost shapes were also fun to work with, because they help create the mood without forcing me to render everything too much. But of course, the hardest part was still the line art, because line art is my eternal enemy. my rival, my unpaid roommate. The liner in this background had a lot going on. Brook's school, his hair, the close sort of face, the folds, the little details, and all these small shapes that look simple until you actually have to draw them. Brook was especially interesting because his face is not soft like a normal human face. He's a skull, so the expression has to come from the mouth, the eye sockets, the angle of the head, and the pose. So it was hard in different ways. His expression is small, but it has to feel like him. If the smile is too soft, he looks strange. If he's too sharp, he looks like he's planning tax fraud. So I had to adjust his face carefully. The clothes were also a challenge. So many folds, so many lines, so many tiny decisions. At some point, I was no longer drawing fabric, I was negotiating with fabric. Since I was still getting used to Clip Studio Paint, every part of the process felt like a little lesson. The brushes taught me something, the texture taught me something, the tools I clicked by accident also taught me something, mostly fear, but still. I also tried to keep the color simple because I didn't want to over-render it. I wanted to feel clean but still have some mood. And honestly, I think that is something I am still learning, when to add more details and when to stop before the drawing starts screaming. Working on this drawing made me remember how much One Piece meant to me when I first watched it. Some stories stay with you not only because of the plot, but because of the time in your life when you watch them. One Piece was one of those stories for me. It was fun, chaotic, emotional, and huge. It made the world feel bigger, and I think that is one of the reasons I still like drawing fan art. It's not only about drawing characters I like, it's also about reconnecting with the version of myself who loved those stories for the first time. And if that version of me had no idea how long One Piece would become. Honestly, none of us were prepared. For today's little life update, I actually had a job interview. It was for a position in a medical call center, giving people information about blood test results and things like that. And honestly, I'm excited. A little nervous, of course, because interviews always make me feel like my brain suddenly forgets how to be a person, but still excited. The medical part also made me think about my dad, because he's a doctor, so there's something kind of familiar about being close to that world, even if it would be from a completely different side. It also reminds me of La Señora Carcasa, but let's don't talk about her right now. The interview was in English, and the job is in English too, which made me even more excited because I really want to keep practicing that language. English is not my first language, so every opportunity to use it feels important, a little scary, but important. Besides that, I'm also preparing for my first artist fair here in Peru. I'm going to be selling products that I make, especially stickers, but also keychains, posters, and other little things. My first fair is called Freaky Day, and it will be on the 29th and 30th of this month. And then I already have a second fair planned, Ohio Fest, on September 26th and 27th. I'm really excited. This is going to be my first time selling my product at a fair, so I'm trying to prepare everything: design, stocks, packaging, prices, display ideas, and probably many tiny details I haven't even thought about yet. It feels a little overwhelming, but in a good way. I really hope it goes well. I hope people like my stickers and my designs, and hopefully I can sell enough to feel like all this preparation was worth it. So please wish me luck. I'm entering my small business era, armed with stickers, anxiety, and questionable time management. And now, welcome back to La Señora Carcasa Corner! In the last video, I talked about my allergy to dust and animal hair, and my toxic love story with cats. Today we continue the cat lore, because of my life, I have had 6 cats in total, and yes, I'm allergic, and yes, I still love them. This is not logic, this is devotion. My first cat was named Sylvester. I had him when I was around 2 years old, so I don't really remember him clearly. I think he was black and white, but most of what I know about him comes from family stories. Apparently, he escaped because my brother and I used to bother his tail too much, which is terrible, but also we were tiny children and clearly did not understand cat boundaries, personal space, or the sacred dignity of tails. So Sylvester saw his chains and left. Honestly, I cannot blame him. That cat probably looked at two small humans chasing his tail and thought I deserved better working conditions. And he was right. My next cat was Chester. He was a Siamese and he believed he was a sculptor. That is the best way I can describe him. He liked to stand on high surface and stay completely still for hours, like a little elegant statue Judy in the room. He had this very serious, mysterious energy, as if he knew ancient secrets but refused to explain them. Chester passed away when I was 15. We had just moved to the top floor of our building, and the terrace still didn't have enough protection for him. One afternoon, he escaped. He couldn't see very well, and it seems like he miscalculated and fell. It still made me sad to remember him. I think pets become part of the map of your childhood, even when they are gone. They stay connected to certain rooms, certain memories, certain version of yourself. Chester was one of those memories for me, my strange little Siamese sculpture. After Chester, we have Kitty. My mom chose that name because of Hello Kitty. Kitty was an orange cat, but somehow I think she received all the brain cells that poor orange cats around the world were supposed to have. She was calm, delicate, and very much a lady. She wasn't extremely affectionate, but she had presence. She claimed my sister's rocking chair like it was a throne, and she was the queen, and only she was. If Kitty was sitting there, that chair no longer belonged to anyone else. It was not furniture anymore, it was royal property. She lived with us for 10 years, but when she got older, she became sick, and her body couldn't handle the illness. Losing her was really painful. She had been with us for a long time that it felt strange to imagine the house without her. Some pets don't need to be loved to take up a huge space in your life. Kitty was like that, white, elegant, orange, and absolutely in charge. My next cat is Benji, or Benjamin Michael for his full name. Benji lived with Kitty for a while. He's a white Persian cat with blue eyes and he has more fur than survivor instincts. He's beautiful, fluffy, and very sweet, but character, not much. When he lived with Kitty, he would sit at the queen's feet like a poor little peasant waiting for execution. Kitty had the throne, the authority, the emotional power. Benji had fluff, a lot of fluff. He never really challenged her. He just accepted his place in the kingdom. And honestly, that is very Benji. He is 7 years old now, and I love him so much. He's soft, cute, and a little bit useless in the most adorable way. A cloud with eyes. 4 years ago, after Kitty passed away, we brought Luna home because Benji seemed very lonely. Luna is mixed breed, dark gray and has green eyes. She is the crazy one in the family. She sleeps completely sprawled out, like she has no bones and no responsibilities. She runs from one side to the other with too much energy, as if she's being chased by invisible drama. She's chaotic, playful, and very alive. If Kitty was the queen and Benji was the gentle peasant, Luna is the little storm running through the castle at 3 a.m., and I adore her. So yes, I'm allergic to dust and animal hair, and yes, I have lived with cats for most of my life. La señora Carcasa does not approve. Every time there is cat hair, she starts feeling complaints. My nose complains, my eyes complains, my looks sometimes look at me like, really? Again? But emotionally, I cannot imagine my life without cats. They have been through different stages of my life: childhood, teenage years, moving, grief, loneliness, routine, and comfort. They made me sneeze, but they also made my life softer. And I think that is why I call it a toxic love story, because my body suffers, but my hair says, look at that teeny fluffy creature, we must protect it. Very reasonable, very healthy, very allergic. And that's it for today's video. Thank you for hanging out with me while I drew Zoro and Brook, talk about One Piece nostalgia, adult life, job hunting, and introduce you to some of the cats from my life. If you also love One Piece, let me know where you are in the story. And if you also love animals you are allergic to, please know that I understand you deeply, from a safe distance, with tissues nearby. Thank you for watching, drawing me, studying with me, or just keeping me company in the background. I'll see you in the next video. Take care of yourself, drink water, and be kind to your own dramatic carcass. Bye!